So let's go over. So yeah, basically, when we did the presentation, when we went to San Francisco with Damien, we had this private demo of Figma Make, and we tested long before the actual announcement. So just to give you a quick feedback on who I am and what we're doing, I'm friend of Figma. We're working with Damien of friend of Figma. We're over 300 members now. And friend of Figma Montreal is the goal is to bring together product makers um, from all kind of product maker, from product manager to designer to developer. We want to share the knowledge and experience like today, and also we want to help the community to learn and innovate, empower the community. So that's the group. We did the 6 events so far, and in the fall we will do more. Just So that was the presentation, and I'm gonna go for this small disclaimer. Like the thing I make is not fully working well sometimes, so there will be a lot of mistakes. But I have some examples that are working fine. So let's go to Figma Make. Figma Make is a very simple software, and I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start with a new make, and one of my goal with Figma Make today is I can see there's other people. Hey Guillaume, hey Emily, hi, hello, we're just starting. Hello,
Oh,
Guillaume.
sorry. I wanted to check if people were asking to join, and I just completely forgot to check.
Yeah,
Sorry,
if you
Emily
can
and
add,
Guillaume.
I don't know if you have the access on
I think I
approving
can see.
people.
No, I'm not. I don't have the access, but I think maybe I can see if we have people in the lobby, or
Yeah,
maybe not. No, maybe I
maybe.
couldn't see you. That's on
Oh,
you.
okay. I'm gonna check sometimes. Yeah. So just a quick overview of the software. First of all, did you already? Your mic is not working. It's okay. Um, but did you ever try Figma Make before, all of you guys? Yeah.
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay, so that's brand new.
But yesterday and right when I received the access, I used it a few times.
I see. I see. How did you like it so far since yesterday?
Very much, very much. I had a hard time when I wanted to make
Hmm.
the things look like our design system and our product, but when I just ask him for an idea or a concept, or and I don't care about the UI looking like the product.
Hmm.
It's I like the first results, and I like the how easy
Yeah.
it is to make changes by clicking on the little
Yeah.
on the left. So far I like it very much.
Cool. Hi, Emily. So yeah, Emily, did you try before Figma Make, or is your first time?
No, first time. All the AI stuff is blocked at work, and my
I
personal
see.
computer was out of battery. That's often I use it. So no, my first time seeing everything about it. Honestly.
Okay. Well, let's go over it. I have this scenario. Basically, one of my goal is to be more active. So I would like to create kind of an app that help me to track my workout, but and maybe also my recipe, because we always argue and finding a way with my wife to finding the good recipe, and we never like really properly do a meal plan correctly. So I know there's plenty of app who do that, but they're also full of ads and not really customized the way I want it. And I want something very simple. So I'm going to prompt something like that. I'm going to say build. Let's see if it's going to work on the first time. Since I try it, I think it would be okay. But build a meal plan app, option my to add my own recipe and see on a calendar. Let's try it like that. I did before, so I hope it's gonna work well. In the meantime, I'm gonna just to show you what it could look like when is finished, when it's actually working well. Well, that was a prompt before of a meal plan app. All that was just one prompt and maybe a few color adjustment. So he did a lot of assumption. As you can see, he didn't have all the details, and that's my first takeaway after playing with it for a long time is try to give a maximum context for the AI. If you're familiar with using AI in general, like if you're lacking of context, they will do a lot of assumption. Like for example, I didn't ask for the time of the cooking time or the number or serving. All that was just assumption for the AI, which is good and also bad because if you don't have a product requirement sorted, and you know what I'm talking about, Vincent, is it's gonna be like just a bunch of feature that might be useless or just out of the context, you know. So be conscious of that. But once it's finished, so let's see if it's done here. Not yet. So it's writing the code still, and I'm gonna go back to here. Let's say I want to do some editing. Of course, I can prompt and say, "Hey, actually, I prefer this color than this color, or change this, change that." But one thing I find pretty cool is the option to select and directly edit what I want to do. So let's say, for example, I want to remove. I can change the color quickly of the tag, you know, and that will be applied everywhere, supposedly. No. Okay, maybe I need to select this pen. And yeah, okay, here. So it's white. Okay, it just changed the color. As you can see, I can easily change the color of the text. I can change the font too. Let's say I want another font. It's not really beautiful, but okay for that. Let's make it a bit more clean. We can also increase the font and so on. And since everything is a component, as you can see, it's already applied everywhere. I have few edits like that, but of course I can jump to the code directly if I'm comfortable to find the code line. I can directly change it here. Or if I'm not feeling comfortable with that, I can just say, you know what? Actually, I want to remove it. Remove because I have no idea where is storing the code. So I'm gonna just remove this tag, and let's see what it's gonna do. It might not fully understanding. So again, be more precise. This is like a bad example of we want to having more description, but it's going to do some reasoning, and I encourage you to actually read the reasoning to understand how he understand you. You know, that's the first thing. So okay, is no, it didn't remove. You see, it didn't do what I was asking. So always like a bit. If okay, fix it for me, and I'm gonna go to another use case. Let's go to this use case,
So
and I
quick
find this
question
one.
about
Yeah,
your first example. Um,
yeah.
One is it good to iterate? Because I know some with some other AI tools, it can be very
Mhm.
impressive when you give your first prompt, generate something from scratch. But then when you ask to add more details, when you want to iterate on something that it's already done, it becomes very bad.
It is.
So would you say that it's better to kind of create everything from scratch with one gen prompt, or it's okay in the approach to say, hey, you can start with that and then
Mm.
you keep sending more prompts so it can improve and iterate.
It's a great question. Actually, I would say don't give too much at first. Like I did the mistakes to send a long PDF with
Yeah.
maybe 5, 6 page of product requirement. It was lost. That was too much for him to understanding because he didn't know where to start. You know, so just give a good balance. The good answer to that is just like giving enough, but not too much to get him lost, and enough to understand the context a bit more, and going chunk by chunk. You know, you want to build on top slowly. it's going to be frustrating. I find, like, personally, those tools from Lovable or V0 or Figma Make are still kind of dumb because they do a lot of assumption. They forget stuff. They're forgetful, and they misunderstanding some stuff. So you will have to repeat yourself many times. Like, I'm going to give you an example on this simple portfolio. Okay, this is like a very basic portfolio in a slideshow mode. So I was at the Apple Store, and I saw this cool application on the iPad that looked like that, for the Vision Pro. If you can open it, as you can see, it's quite simple. It was just like a nice slideshow with nice animation. The finish was really nice, but it took me like almost 40 prompts to achieve this, because at first it was okay, but there was a lot of misunderstanding. So I had to adjust. Like, for example, I repeat myself like 10 times to center the when you click on one project, to open it full screen, and to center in. Just this took me like 10 iteration. So yeah, it's quite annoying sometimes, and it's still not fully integrate. But let's go to the recipe. Does the recipe is done? Yeah, okay, the recipe, as you can see, we just did the prompt, and is giving something very different. So it's always like a jack in the box. You never know what we're going to find at the end, unless you have a design. And that's something you can test it for this example. I'll give you a real example with this author authentication. Sometimes you want to do a prototype for user testing, but your prototype is to having a logging. And we know that creating a logging into Figma, a real logging with real data input, could be very annoying. And Figma is not made for having a real form. So this is a good example of, during a user test, if you want to having a real functional prototype, that's the best way to use it. Figma Make, I find, when you have something that's it's out of the prototype, basic prototype feature of Figma. And once you did that, you can import your design. So this is like, just to give you a context here. I can fully create an account. I can completely type my name, blah blah blah, and I can even ask him to correct the password, or having a confirmation password, stuff like that. Let's For now, I didn't include HKs, but you see, he understand that at least 8 character. So you can having your error message and so on. It's not the same password. Password doesn't match. It's okay. Okay, it created an account. Now I'm on the dashboard. Perfect. Seeing out. But I want to implement my design, because I already have my design here. I'm gonna use this one because I find it was pretty nice. I'm gonna just copy and paste it here. And I'm gonna ask him to just apply the design. Apply the UI. Okay. Let's see if it's gonna work. Sometimes it doesn't. But I just pasted right now. I just pasted my design that's already set in my design system and so on, to just apply the UI style to the functional element. And in this way, that's also a good way to use Figma Make, is starting from something purely functional, wireframing, and then applying your UI. Another way I like to use also Figma Make, and it's pretty recent, is when you having this part, for example, you can connect now a library. So if you already publish a library, it's very recent, you can just see it here. And when you publish the library, if you're familiar with Figma, when you have the library panel, there's now a button saying publish for Figma Make. So that would be a specific instant for Figma Make. I just downloading the material 3 design kit just for the example. and it's gonna ask me if I want to rewrite my style for this library. Let's say yes. And now I'm gonna asking apply the library design. Okay. And now it's thinking, and boom, we actually did it. Does this really, really close to what is material design exactly? I don't know exactly. I have to try more for that, and that would be your test if Guillaume or Emily or Alex and Denny, you have your own library. Test it to see if it's really understanding your library and applying correctly. But you saw it did it pretty good. It did a pretty good job for this UI. Of course, I can
So I have a
tweak and
question here.
yeah,
Um, with Figma Make, and again, I come from the product side of things, so I'm not the
Yeah.
expert designer. Can you create just a component? Like, let's say, so to be transparent here, we are refactoring the Homeric website with Alban, and we have some cards on the website with the different
Yeah.
coaches we have in our collective. And then I would like to switch that into a carousel. And so I would love to use Figma Make to say, hey, by the way, I have the design of that card to
Yeah.
present each coach that we have. And now please make it a carousel with, I don't know, the different data I can have. But I don't want to create an entire app or website, right? It's just about creating
this component. Yeah.
this component. So is it possible just to choose the scope on which you're working, not an entire screen, but maybe just a component that you can re-import elsewhere?
In Figma Make, no, it's like a separate from Figma Design. So that would be just a demo. If you want to use it as a demo for this component, like this example of pricing plan, this pricing table, you can use that saying, I just want to create the pricing table and sending to my developer as an example. This is the behavior, this is the design I
Okay,
want.
but I can really say just create a pricing plan, right? Nothing. I don't have the bar, whatever. I just have my component.
Yeah. You can,
and then
you
I can export the
actually-
code because you have access to the code here.
Yes.
And then in Figma sites, you have the code layer. So maybe
that's
then
the
I could
Yeah.
try to re-import the code through the code layer so we can put that into the website.
Yeah, exactly, Vincent. That's
Okay,
another way
understood.
to use it. Figma Make is like fully independent from Figma Design,
Understood.
as like lovable, pretty much. But you can also use Figma Design with the code layer, which is like just this component, or just let's say just a specific part of the screen that is a code using Figma Make.
Okay.
Right now, I don't have it on my account because Figma code layer is not released everywhere. It's like they are rolling out slowly the feature of code layers. I tried on my personal, on my pro. It's not activated yet. So
I
it
think
will
we
come.
have it.
You have it?
Yeah, I saw something about it. This is why I had that in mind. I wanted
Okay.
to test the idea. I would check. But yeah, I think I saw something. So I was like,
But
okay,
that's
now we
actually-
can do it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point actually. Lastly, I wanted to show you that there's other button you can attach design. I show you that you can paste your design directly, but you can also just selecting here, and that will be from the community or from your account. You can also attach a JPEG. So let's say you want to upload your own design. You saw a cute a cute design somewhere and you want to just get inspiration from it. It will try to align with the design. It's not necessarily gonna work on the first time, but it could work pretty nice. And lastly, for now, we have Cloud Sonnet 4. There will be probably other option in the future of other type of AI. When you have, sorry, I want to show you also last thing is the integration with database. They are working on that. It's not fully open, but as you can see, we can integrate Superbase now. If you're not familiar with Superbase, it's a very simple no-code tool where you can store your data and they will be connected to it. So they just released like a couple hours ago, and I did it. I did it where I did on the pricing table. I think I did it here. No, yeah, that was on another part. No, is there authentication? Yeah, here. As you can see here, I just request store all the sign up in the database into Supabase. So every time I use my signing, I will have a record on my Supabase data table. The problem is I'm stuck here because I just realized they're just running out right now. So it's still ongoing, but eventually it will be connected fully. And I will share with you a link. I have this demo. They say backend for Figma Make are running out, and they will be gradually running out in the next few days. So still ongoing this part, but you can imagine you can go further with that, like Lovable doing with Superbase, if you're familiar with that. So yeah, lastly, for small detail, of course you can having your own domain, you can having your own title, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff if you want to publish. And when it's published is actually look like that. So that's something I publish actually, and I give it for free because I thought that some designer request or need for a simple portfolio, and I just did it like that. Pretty nicely done. I have to say that overall, like the UI and so on is very minimalistic, but it works pretty nice. Like for a portfolio, few bugs here, but basically very okay for a designer who don't have the time. That's another use case. If you have just a personal website, could be useful for that. um, I just want to go back to my meal plan. No, okay, doesn't work really well. Lastly, I'm gonna show you. Do I have? Oh yeah, that's another good example. If it's loading well, of just a component. Vincent, if you ask me if you want to having this animation, it will be
That's
probably
exactly the kind of things that we like
yeah.
to make sure we don't use too much space. So switch to a carousel, and having a car like this is awesome.
Yeah, and that's a good example of a demo for your developer, because doing this on Figma could be a long time work for animating and having the proper description, and for that I use a whole paragraph for a prompt. As you can see, I find a website that share all kind of pre-component made with the prompt, and you can just paste it, and it will do it, and then you can tweak it here and there. So that's a good way to use it. Also, Figma Make. Just to go back to the takeaway, because we are done with that, and then we can answer a couple of questions. But I will encourage you to deep dive as soon as possible. As you can see, they're going fast. They're already integrated per base. Maybe there will be other feature of more deeper integration with components with the library. It's already there, but not fully working. And also, I would just say that for PM and for finding finding your product market fit is actually pretty good if you want to iterate fast without a developer, and trying to find your product market fit. That's the perfect tool for that. And yeah, you can also be aware of the craft can be very basic. I have to say it. So bring your own craft to it. As you saw, they're just doing like very vanilla UX and UI. It works, but not very creative or very personal. So that's my three takeaway for that. Lastly, to finish on that, what the AI like. That's pretty important to know. The AI like when we name our layers, when we have a clean canvas, when the auto layout is set, when it's clear and short prompt, when we iterate as you go, to answer your question, Vincent. And what the designer like usually is not to name their layer
I like to
Some
name my layers when I play designer.
good, good. Not everyone like that. But yeah, auto layout. Sometimes people like to not using auto layout and having absolute position or long description, and using everything at once with one prompt. That's not working well. The AI is overwhelmed, and you would be overwhelmed. Think about that. If you give me, or if Emily, you receive a big product requirement of 15 page with all the description, you would be overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. It would be
Yeah.
a lot to analyze. At
I
first.
will use AI to summarize.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, lastly, to finish on I want just to show you one last slide that I find pretty interesting for that is this one. Yeah, because we did also at Shopify. Is usually the vibe coding workflow is like that. So it's very similar to design thinking. You define, ideate, refine, and test it. Similar to the design thinking. So yeah, that's my last presentation. Do we have question for this
Um,
this small demo?
no. Not really a question, more of a, like I mentioned, like at the beginning of the call, everything AI and even Figma is blocked now at the bank. So it's
E.
it's very depressing.
Yeah.
And I'm doing concept testing right now, and just being able to use that will like be like a godsend thing. So I'm gonna go back to my very bad version of Figma and be depressed for a little while. But thanks, that was super cool.
Pleasure. But if you want to join the Friend of Figma Montreal, we are we are very open to a new member. Where
Sure.
we will start in September, the next event. But yeah, we will keep you in touch. We don't know
Perfect.
exactly the theme, but it could be Figma Make deep dive. We could do that, so we will keep you in touch for that. But yeah. I'm gonna stop presenting. Do you have other question? Maybe Alex, Denis, Guillaume, Vincent?
Oh,
To have records. I'm
vas-y.
sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Denis.
Okay, so do you have records of such meetings? So is it like private?
No, I record it. We'll share later on.
That's nice. Do you have any? Because my experience so far is to help me think of ideas or just visualize what things could be. That's what I've used. I plan on trying, to use it to create potential solutions or features, and then test it with some clients that are very accessible. I'd like to do that. And I wonder if you've done that. I wonder also if you have experience working with a dev from what Figma Make did for you. Is it something you did already?
I did before, and it just I think it's a perfect benchmarking if you want to having a clear description, a clear demo of what your intention, plus of course your user flow and all the user stories. That's the good way to present for a developer. But of course, your developer will not take the code as it is because it's full of data breach and not usable for the developer. It's just not the same language sometimes. So yeah.
Nice stuff. And one thing I struggled with was to make the interface look like the client's potential product, like to step it with actual data from the
Yep.
client. I managed to do that by reducing the number of data and just doing it by hand. But do you think with Superbase or this kind of tool, that's something we can make?
Yeah, definitely. If you already have your database on Superbase and other tool, because I'm pretty sure they will open to other platform or eventually create their own database. I think it would be perfect for this case to having real data stored on Superbase and connected to fill it like the recipe app could be all the picture, all the description, and the title on your Superbase, and just asking the AI to connect it.
Nice stuff.
Yeah. But the good thing is it actually understand when you prompt it. The goal for Figma Make is not to ask you to connect one field to the database, you know, and zone and be like one by one connecting each field. No, the goal is to prompt it. Hey, all the title of the recipe must be connected to Superbase. Bam.
Yeah.
So that would work like that. So yeah. But it's quite interesting to see the possibility of all this AI, but just keep in mind that you are the expert, you know better your product, you know your user, and this is for rapid prototyping when you want to go maybe for user test or presenting to stakeholder, or maybe for raising fund.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for sharing all that. It's very interesting.
Pleasure.
Can you show again where you have your connection to Superbase?
Yeah.
Because maybe there is a flag or something, but I'm not sure I have the option.
Yeah. So let me go back to this. It's here. So when here you have the option of settings. Then you go to Superbase here, and you can connect to Superbase. It will ask you to actually connect. What I did is when I click on that, I get an error for now.
Okay.
It says successfully authentified, but it doesn't go to the next steps yet because they just released it right now. So just
Okay. Maybe I need
keep
to
in
build
mind.
something first because I don't have any of the settings here.
You don't have it on your settings?
I'm just going to generate something first because
Mhm.
I just have an empty screen for the moment.
You see, so that's why I see when I click on the connecting, he send me that, but it should be go further, and that's the full description. As you can see, they're running out, so
Mhm.
still ongoing. But if you look at the video when he's starting to use it, when it's set up, you should see that the API access, and then when it's fully connect to your project, of course, and when it's authorized, you should see that. You see this part? Set up your account connecting to example organization, create a new Superbase project, and so on. So it would come. It's just
Yeah,
might
I will.
be a
I will
couple
keep
days.
checking for that. Okay, no, it's
Yeah,
here. Okay, no, I found it. We're good.
you found
Superbase.
it.
Okay, I will try it. And I was wondering if it's something because we are already working with Figma sites. They announced that they would also deliver a CMS feature, so that's super interesting. So we can store, our data and reuse it everywhere. And I was wondering if it was going to be the same thing. So I will check Superbase and how it works, and then we'll see. Do you know? And I'm sorry because of kind of technical questions and details, but if we can at some point we'll be able to plug our own AIs, right? You said that from Claude we may use OpenAI, ChatGPT, or whatever, because that would be awesome to plug our own Claude because so we can use our own account and everything. That could be a way to prevent paying multiple times for Claude, and two, it would be awesome to drive this from my cloud desktop where I can have my project with my context and everything, and then I just drive Figma to build stuff. That would be awesome. I would check for if they have a project for MCP server or that kind of stuff, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. Keep in mind it's very beta still. They
Oh yeah,
just
of course, but
released. So
I'm
they
really
just
talking about.
released in May, so we're in July. It's still very early age, and they will probably having a pricing plan also for Figma Make in the next
Oh,
couple
they don't
months,
have a
as
choice
you know.
because the cost must be crazy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
For sure, it must be crazy.
But during the
Okay,
demo,
awesome.
they also show something more advanced, like you can create small video game, you can create a music app synthesizer and stuff like that. So much more advanced feature. You can even control cameras because they access to the device, to the hardware. So that would be more exploration to do. Like right now, it's just like the basic for you and I. We know that we don't want to go. We don't want to create a video game with Figma Make. We want to create app and software. So that's just the example for today. But if you have other needs, we can discuss for other demo.
No, I was just trying to understand, where they were going and what would be the scope of possibilities. So it's a big choice, right? For example, if we decide, okay, let's switch our landing page, right, or our website, our company website, to Figma site or Figma Make. That's awesome because you can iterate quickly. You give the power to the designer, so you can you don't depend on developers and so on. But then you're still making a big choice for your ecosystem, right? Because switching may be more difficult, those kind of things. So yeah, you need to understand all those dynamics before making a good choice. And for us, for example, with Homeric, we want to integrate the website faster. We want our developers to focus on the app, the product we're building. So when I want to add a new section on the website or a new subpage, for example, I would love to do it, when it's 11 p.m. I'm working on a new case study and I put that document online without having to wait for the next day and then have the time to chat with the team and whatever. So yeah, those tools are very, very exciting.
Yeah, there's a lot of coming with that, but keep in mind that it's very useful for small iteration, not necessarily for a full-on project from A to Z. If you want to go to the market with that, it could be nice if you're a startup, if you're trying to find your product market fit. But if you are a bank and you have a lot of, regulation and stuff like that, maybe not. Not for a real product, but for prototype, for user testing, for just iterate quickly. Perfect. Anyway, let's keep in touch. But it was a pleasure to talk to you. If you have other questions, feel free to reach out to me and to join us on the Friend of Figma Montreal too. And the next one.
Thanks again.
Thank you for your time. C'est super apprécié.
Thank you. Avec plaisir.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
À la
Ciao,
prochaine.
everybody.